Hi, in this video I'd like to discuss fraction multiplication, how to define it and so on. So let's begin by looking at 2 of 10, which we've discussed in the previous videos. We said 2 of 10 is just an abbreviation for 2 copies of 10, and that's how we obtained 20. And two copies of 10 has another notation without the use of word of, and you'll recall that is simply 2 times 10. And similarly, 10 of half is an abbreviated form of 10 copies of 1 half. We know 10 copies of 1 half is 5, but we also know 10 of a half or 10 copies of half can also has another notation. We could write this as 10 times half. So 10 times half means exactly the same thing as 10 of half. Now here let's look at 2/3 or 4/5, which we discussed in one of our previous videos, and we defined what 2/3 of 4/5 was. We said it's really 2 copies of something. What is that something? Well, we start off with the segment from 0 to 4/5. We partition it into 3 equal parts, and 2/3 of 4/5 is 2 copies of those parts. And then using logic, we said that's equals this fraction equals this one. So now we would like a shorthand notation for this phrase, 2/3 of 4/5, without the word of. And following the same logic, it seems reasonable that to use this notation, 2/3 times 4/5. So in other words, a fraction multiplied by another fraction, by definition, really I'm saying is 2/3 of 4/5, and we, by our previous reasoning, 2/3 of 4/5 is this fraction, and so on. So now let's summarize this and write a definition for a fraction multiplied by a fraction using letters. Suppose a, b, c, d are whole numbers and b and d are not equal to 0. So here's the definition of what it means to multiply 2 fractions. A over b times c over d by definition really means a over b of c over d. And in another video we explained what the meaning of a over b of c over d is. So now we're saying a over b times c over d is just another way, another shorthand notation for this a over b of c over d. They mean exactly the same thing, and that's what this definition is saying. Now here are the facts worth remembering. This is a fact that you know from a previous video. We used the definition of, we defined a over b of c over d, and we used the definition in mathematical reasoning to say a over b of c over d is in fact a fraction whose numerator is simply the product of these two numerators, and whose denominator is the product of these two denominators. So this is just a summary from a previous video. Now from now that let's look at number 2, fact number 2. A over b times c over d. Well, we just said that same as this, and so naturally this would be exactly same as this fraction. So a over b times c over d is another fraction whose numerator is a times c, whose denominator is b times c. So this is sometimes remembered as, to multiply 2 fractions, we multiply straight across. The numerators are multiplied across and the denominators are multiplied across. And all the videos we've been discussing so far will tell you why that's true. Well, this one tells you a over b times c over d by definition is a over b of c over d. And by another video, we have this formula. So these 2 facts are worth remembering. They help you calculate, do the calculations. So this one helps you how to go about calculating a fraction multiplied by another fraction. So be sure to remember this. Thank you.